Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Kindly wait for a couple of minutes for the speaker to join. Hare Krishna, Suvarnagaura, Hare Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We ready, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate and glad to have the association of His Grace Suvarnagaura Hare Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 5, chapter number 19, and Sloka number 13. Prabhuji, over to you, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji will have to finish the class by 8 o'clock. He has another seva. Thank you, Prabhu.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 19, text number 13. So this chapter is entitled a description of the island of Jambudvipa. And in specific, we are reciting the verse from the prayers of the residents of Jambudvipa to especially Bharatavarsha residents, Nardimam, glorifying Naranarayan. Idam hi yogeshwara yoga naipunam हिरण्यगर्भो भगवान् जगादयत् यदन्तकाले त्वयि निर्गुणे मनो भक्त्याधरितो जितदुष्कलेवरः idam this he certainly yoga ishvara O my lord master of all mystic power yoga naipunam the expert process of executing yogic principles hiranyagarbha Lord Brahma Bhagavan the most powerful Jagada spoke yet which Antakale at the time of death, Tvai in you, Nirgune the transcendence, Manaha the mind, Bhaktya with a devotional attitude, Dadhita one should place, Ujjita Dushkalevaraha having given up his sanctification with the material body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O my Lord, Master of all mystic yoga, this is the explanation of the yogic process spoken of by Lord Brahma Hiranyagarbha, who is self-realized. At the time of death, all yogis give up the material body with full detachment simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Srimadhacharya says, Yasya sammag bhagavati jnanam bhaktistataiva cha nischintastasya mokshasya sarvapapakrutopitu. For one who very seriously practices devotional service during his lifetime in order to understand the constitutional position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, liberation from this material world is guaranteed, even if he has previously been addicted to sinful habits. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. The only purpose of life is to be fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and his form, pastimes, activities, and qualities. If one is able to think of Krishna in this way 24 hours a day, he is already liberated. Sarupena vyavastitihi. Whereas materialists are absorbed in material thoughts and activities, devotees, on the contrary, are always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and Krishna's activities. Therefore, they are already on the platform of liberation. One has to think of Krishna with full absorption at the time of death. Then he will certainly return home back to Godhead without a doubt. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम्. Hare Krishna, welcome to all the devotees for morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, today we are discussing the prayers of Narada Muni, which he has offered to Lord Nara and Narayana, rishis. So, actually, fifth canto describes, especially these few chapters, describes the structure of the universe, the different locations of the universe, who stays where, and what are the activities in those places. But only the description of the universe, the geometry of the universe may appear very boring and dry. But when bhakti is added, even in these descriptions, then it becomes very relishable. And that is the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, to introduce bhakti in all aspects. Because the bhakti is the only way to understand Krishna, bhakti is the only way to reach Krishna. So bhakti is the ultimate process. So Bhagavatam contains nothing but bhakti to Lord Krishna. When we hear Bhagavatam, bhakti awakens in the heart and Lord Krishna becomes fixed up in one's heart. That's the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sadhyo hridyavarudyate atra kritibhihi shushrushobish taskshanat. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam attentively from the right source, Krishna becomes fixed in the heart. And that is the result of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam attentively. So Bhagavatam doesn't deviate from the topic anywhere. I was describing yesterday, I was speaking about the same canto. I had 24th chapter where the description of the lower planetary systems is given, but in between there is a description about Bali Maharaj and Vamanadeva. Because Bali Maharaj is staying in Sutara Loka along with Vamanadeva. So the bhakti of Bali Maharaj and the compassion of Vamanadeva is described in that section, a small section of about 5-6 verses. So even while describing the planetary systems, the geometry, the hellish planets, subterranean planets, still the glory of Bhakta and Bhagavan is described. So there is no deviation in topic. Bhagavatam is consistent in its theme, and the theme of Bhagavatam is bhakti, starting to end. It is bhakti towards Lord Krishna. So that point is very, very consistent in Srimad Bhagavatam. Not like other shastras where karma, jnana, and yoga are described and glorified. But Bhagavatam describes and glorifies only Shuddha Bhakti. That is specialty of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why it's the highest book among all other books. It's the highest pramana among all the other pramanas. So in this section, Nara Narayana Rishi are the presiding deities of Bharatavarsha. As all of you know, we are staying in this tract of land called as Bharatavarsha. Bharatavarsha is the place where Bharat Maharaj ruled. It's called Bharata because people here were very cultured and they kept the goal of life as Krishna consciousness. Bha means Prakash. Rata means to be engaged. Those who are engaged in the path of light or the path of Krishna consciousness are Bharatiyas. Just being born in this land of Bharata doesn't make one Bharatiya, but one also has to have the spirit of Bharatiya. And that spirit of Bharatiya is Krishna consciousness, spirituality. And when that spirituality is lost, we no longer remain Bharatiyas. And we just are staying in this land of Bharat, but one is not practicing the culture of Bharat, one is not cultivating the values of Bharatavarsha. So that's why one should very carefully preserve and protect our Bharata culture. So here Narada Muni is glorifying Nara Narayana. Who are Nara Narayana? They are the incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Nara is Arjuna, Narayana is Narayana, Sakshat Vishnu himself. So Arjuna and Narayana, they have come as Krishna and Arjuna in Dwapar Yuga. But originally Nara Narayana are one unit. They appear to be two, but they are one. Nara Narayana Rishi. They are not separated. They are always together. And they are addressed as one entity. So Nara Narayana Rishi. So they are the presiding deities of Bharatavarsha. Like every land has got a presiding deity, and that deity controls or is in charge of that area. So they have Grama Devatas, they have Rashtra Devatas. So similarly for Bharatavarsha, the presiding deities are Nara Narayana. For Ilavrata Varsha, the presiding deity is Lord Sankarsana. For Kimpurusha Varsha, the presiding deity is Lord Ramachandra. For Harivarsha, the presiding deity is Lord Narasimha. So in this way, for every Varsha, there is a presiding deity, and all the residents, they offer their respects to Nara Narayana. Like we also chant this famous mantra, Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. So this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam offers obeisances to Nara Narayana, Vyasadeva, Saraswati Devi, and then begins description of Srimad Bhagavatam. So one should, as a etiquette, offer respects to the presiding deity of this entire Bharata. And presiding deities are Nara and Narayana. So Vyasadeva himself is offering obeisances to Nara Narayana and then trying to describe Srimad Bhagavatam. So following that parampara, we also should offer obeisances to Nara Narayana and then describe Srimad Bhagavatam. So we already seen the couple of verses, verse number 10, 11, 12, how Narada is glorifying Nara Narayana. So in the verse number 12, the Lord is described to be transcendental. The Lord is not affected by the modes of material nature. He doesn't touch matter. Although the Lord performs creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the universe, he is unattached to it. Karta sarga dishayonas badhate. And although he is the doer of sarga, means creation, adishu means maintenance and destruction, is understood. Karta sarga dishayona badhyate. So although he is creating something and destroying the same thing, but still is not attached to it. Generally, when we create something, we become attached to it. Somebody builds a home, he becomes attached to that home. This is my home. I want to stay in this home. I want to protect this home. Such kind of consciousness he may have. But Lord, he created the entire universe and is maintaining it, but still is not attached to it. He is detached from this material world. So this is one of the opulence of the Lord. Vairagya, renunciation. न हन्यते देहगतोऽपि दैहिकैः. He appears to have taken a material body, dehagatopi, but no hanyate. He is unaffected by the bodily tribulations like hunger, thirst, and shoka, moha, lamentation, and illusion. And then jara, mrityu, old age, and death. These are the six whips of Maya. Right? So, shoka, moha, jara, mrityu, and uh, kshut, pipasa, hunger, and thirst. So these six whips of Maya will not disturb the Lord. We are disturbed by these things. If you feel hungry, we have to go and eat something. If you feel sleepy, you have to go and sleep. And if somebody is thirsty, he has to drink water. Right? So Kshut Pipasa, then Shoka Moha, there is lamentation and illusion of the present, lamentation of the past. Right? And then there is Jara, Mrityu, there's fear of old age and death. So in this way, there's a lot of tribulations in material world, but the Lord is not affected by these tribulations of the material world. The jivas who are embodied are affected by these tribulations, but the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, who is beyond these tribulations, is not at all affected. So he is transcendental. Dehagado vedahikai. Drashturna digyasya gunaya vidushyate. Although he is seeing the material world, he is not affected by what he is seeing. When we see something, we get affected, we get attracted, or we get distracted by what we see. But Lord is neither attracted nor distracted. He is neutral. He is not affected by this. So all this witness of everything, his vision is unpolluted by material qualities. What is water material qualities? Attraction and repulsion. When we see something, either we get attracted or we get repulsed. But Lord is free from both attraction and repulsion. So he remains steady even though he sees this material world. Drashturna drigyasya gune vidushyate tasmai namo asakta vivikta sakshane. That's why I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who is a sakshi, who is a witness, uncontaminated witness in this material world. And this is a great opulence of the Lord. He is so detached. He
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we cannot hear you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. I think power went off. Okay.
Yeah, there's power failure here. I'll switch on some temporary light here. Okay. So, yeah, I was telling that the Lord, although he is seeing the material world, is not affected by the material world. When we see things of this material world, we get affected or repulsed by what we see. But the Lord is not affected by these things. So he is transcendental. So then comes today's verse where Narada Muni is telling about the wonderful qualities of the Lord. Oh my Lord, master of all mystic yoga. This is the explanation of yogic process spoken of by Lord Brahma, who is self-realized. Yoga Naipunam. Yoga Naipunam means the mystic yoga process is nothing but bhakti yoga. At the time of death, all the yogis give the mortal body with full detachment, simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Idam hi yogeshvara, yoga naipunam. Hey Yogeshvara, this is the expert path, yoga naipunam. Who described this yoga naipunam, this path? Hiranyagarbho Bhagavan. So Lord Brahma, the most powerful Lord Brahma, described this. Jagada means described. Yadantakaale tvai nirgune mano bhaktya uddhadita. So at the time of death, the yogis who meditate on your lotus feet, which are transcendental, they they become purified of all metal contamination. Ujjita dushkalevaraha. And they become purified of all metal contamination and they become elevated to the higher stage. So this is the so we should meditate on the Supreme Lord. So today's verse is talking about how one should meditate on the Supreme Lord. Why one should meditate on the Supreme Lord? That's being described here. Because by meditating on the Supreme Personality of God who is transcendental, we also become transcendental. Just like iron rod, when it is placed in fire, it becomes fiery. Similarly, the conditioned jiva, when is placed in contact with Lord Krishna's service, by that constant contact with Krishna, the soul also becomes purified. The conditioned soul becomes purified and he also becomes transcendental. Then he is not affected by the happenings of this material world. एतदीशनमीशस्य प्रकृतिस्तोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युञ्जते सदात्मस्तैः यथा बुद्धिः तदाश्रयः. So this verse of Bhagavatam says that just like Supreme Lord is transcendental to the three modes of material nature, similarly the devotees of the Lord, the pure devotees of the Lord, they are also transcendental to the modes of material nature. They are not affected by the modes of material nature. Right? Etadishanamishasya. Prakritistopi, all the Lord comes into this material world and acts like one of us, still is not affected by the three modes of material nature. But we get affected. But Lord is not affected. But pure devotees are also not affected. Conditioned souls are affected by the modes of nature. But the pure devotees who are on the very, very exalted plane of consciousness, they are not affected by these three modes. So there's a power of bhakti. And this power of bhakti was revealed by Brahma in the beginning. If you read the Chatushloki Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number second canto, ninth chapter, verse number 33, 34, 35, 36, especially verse number 36, it talks about the process of bhakti. Etavadeva jignasyam tattva jignasunatmanah अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्याम यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. Supreme Lord had told Brahmaji, "Oh Brahma, please meditate and try to find out the process which can be followed by anybody and anywhere without any restrictions. Yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. Everywhere and in any place it should be followed." So such a process is none other than bhakti. Because karma, jnana, and yoga have got many, many conditions, preconditions to practice. But bhakti has no preliminary qualifications required. A person has to have some faith, that's all. So with that small faith, he can continue practicing bhakti and his faith will grow and become more and more stronger. But in the case of karma, jnana, and yoga, it's not sufficient to just have faith. One should also do the activities properly with proper recitation of mantras, proper ingredients at the proper time and proper place. Right? Like if some marriage has to be conducted, it has to be done in a proper place, at a proper time, at a proper muhurta, isn't it? And if you don't do that, a proper brahmana also should be there to do the yajnas. If you don't do this, then you'll not get the result, proper result. So in Karma Kanda, a lot of dependency is there on time, place, and capacities. Similarly, for Jnana, there is also restriction of mental capacities, intellectual capacity. To study and learn Sanskrita and then study the scriptures deeply. And for yoga, one requires physical and mental strength in order to practice yoga system. But for bhakti, no such qualifications are required. The only qualification is one should have some faith, Shraddha. So bhakti begins from Shraddha, Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anatta Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So the 9 stages of bhakti are mentioned here. But the first stage is Shraddha, one should have little faith. in Krishna. Need not be strong faith. Little faith is also good enough. One can begin. Later on, one gets to the stage of Nishtha where one has very, very strong and steady faith. So that's a higher stage. So एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यां तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वयव्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. So Brahmaji thought about this process, and then he came to the conclusion by Vimarshana that the path of bhakti is the best process. So Brahmaji concluded his uh, prayers by glorifying bhakti, and then he also propagated bhakti to Narada. Narada spoke it to Vasudeva. Vasudeva expanded further to his disciples, and the disciples further expanded, and finally Srimad Bhagavatam was written. Many other Shastras are written, and finally Srimad Bhagavatam was written, which contains only bhakti. There is no other glorification. Right? So many other literatures glorify dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, the four purusharthas. Most of the other literatures describe dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. But Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies only bhakti. Sometimes Bhagavatam compares karma and bhakti, jnana and bhakti, yoga and bhakti, and what glorifies bhakti as the topmost. For example, Durasa Muni was a yogi. Although being a yogi, he got defeated by Ambarish Maharaj. So yogi is better than, a Krishna Bhakta is better than a yogi. And Gyanis, like Chatush Kumaras or even Shukadeva Goswami, they were Gyanis, impersonalists. They also became attracted to Krishna by hearing Krishna's glories, isn't it? So Gyanis also become devotees. So that comparison also given. And Karmis, sense gratifiers. Sense gratifiers like Prachi Parishad, pious sense gratifier. He was a pious king, but his goal was sense gratification, karma kanda. Yayati, who was indulging in so much of sense gratification with his wife, and to such an extent that he bartered his son's youth so that he can enjoy more. Pururava, he was another king who was attached to heavenly pleasures. He wanted Urvashi as his wife. So there also you will see that Pururava later becomes a devotee. Yati also becomes a devotee. So karmis, jnanis, and yogis, all three of them, uh, uh, they are lower in position to the bhakta. So bhakta is considered to be the topmost and the highest uh, yogi. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनन्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समेप्ततमामतः. So it is said that the best among all the yogis is one who thinks of Krishna in the heart always. So madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate. The word bhaja means to worship. So one worship Krishna in his heart always with faith. He is considered to be the topmost devotee. So same thing is being told in today's verse in the purport. So at the time of death, one should focus one's mind on the activities of Krishna, and one should become detached from all bodily attachments, bodily enjoyments. And in such state of samadhi, one attains the spiritual world. So this is the perfection of yoga. So Madhacharya also quoted the verse. For one who very seriously practices devotion service during his lifetime, in order to understand the constitutional position of the Supreme Person of Godhead, liberation from this material world is guaranteed. So, serious practitioner of bhakti, for him liberation is guaranteed. Even if he is papakrit, sarva papa kritopitu, if he has committed all abominable sinful activities, drinking, smoking, eating meat, gambling, many other sinful activities. But if he takes to bhakti, he becomes purified and he attains liberation. So it is surely possible. Like great hunter Mrugari, he got delivered. Then there was another dacoit Valmiki, Ratnakar. He also got delivered. So the Shastras contain stories and examples of people who were very, very sinful but they became delivered by the power of bhakti. And so, and you can see in the case of Prahlad Maharaj also, that Prahlad Maharaj was such an exalted devotee. He was born in Asura family and he was with all sinful people. His father was sinner and all his associates, friends, they were also sinners. But Prahlad Maharaj took compassion on them and taught bhakti to them, right, by chanting the names of Lord Narayana, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So by making the Asuras chant the holy name of Krishna, Prahlad Maharaj gave them an opportunity to go back to Godhead. So this is the compassion of pure devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. They are not concerned about their own liberation, they are concerned about others' liberation. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says, I do not want to come back to spiritual world. I want to stay here. And I want to see that all these conditioned jivas, they get delivered. And when I see that all of them are delivered, then I will come to spiritual world. नैवोद्विजे परादुरत्यया वैतरण्या त्वद्वीर्यगायनमहामृतमग्नचित्ताः शोचेततो विमुखचेतसेन्द्रियार्था माया सुखाय भरमुद्वहतो विमूढा. Palamar is telling that I'm not afraid of this material world because I'm hearing your glories constantly. And because I'm absorbed in your glories, I do not fear this material world, but I'm afraid of those people who are not thinking about you and enjoying material sense gratification because they're suffering and they will suffer more because of their sinful activities. So one should engage them in Krishna's service. So Prahlad Maharaj's mode is of preaching. Right? One who accepts bhakti is already liberated, but a liberated soul is not selfish. He likes to see that others also get liberated. So the devotees have the mode of preaching Krishna consciousness tirelessly. So one should not become tired in preaching Krishna consciousness. One should have fresh enthusiasm for preaching Krishna consciousness anywhere, anytime, to anyone. One should be ready. Right? Anywhere, anytime, and to anyone, one should be ready to preach. So, of course, if you have time, otherwise, you can't leave our regular service and go out. So, we have to, but we have to make a priority as much as possible, take out time for preaching Krishna consciousness without compromising our regular temple service or allotted services. So, preaching is the essence. Srila Prabhupada had four golden rules. So, what's the first one? Books are the basis, purity is the force, utility is the principle, and preaching is the essence. So, the essence of our movement is preaching Krishna consciousness. And to whom we have to preach? Anybody, to anyone, right? Anywhere, anyhow, we should be able to preach. So, that much readiness should be there in a preacher. Is it as Radha Shampur used to say that a brahmachari means even if the middle of the night somebody wakes you, I say, Prabhu lecture dena, you should get ready and you should be able to speak. Right? Where is time for preparation? No time for preparation. Right? If he has to speak, then he has to just get ready and speak, even in the middle of the night. So that much of readiness should be there. And so we can learn this from army. So army people have to be ready all the time. Even if they are sleeping in midnight, they are trained to get ready in 1 minute and ready for the war. So that's the kind of readiness is expected. Because war can happen at any moment. We can't, wait till the morning. Of course, in the olden days, the rule was you fight from morning to night, sunrise to sunset. But now, fightings are anytime, even in the middle of the night. So one should be ready all the time. Similarly, a devotee also should be ready all the time to preach Krishna consciousness like Prahlad Maharaj. Whenever Prahlad got an opportunity, he preached. In between the classes, he preached. When there was break time, he preached. So he was always ready. He was grabbing opportunity to share Krishna consciousness. Even to his father, whenever he got an opportunity, he preached. So preaching is the essence of a moment which we can learn from many acharyas. So Prabhupada quoted another verse from Bhagavad Gita, अपि चेत सुदुराचारो, किसने अगर बहुत गलत काम किया. Durachara means bad work. Sudurachara means very, very bad work, very, very bad activity. So if somebody is in such category, but still he takes to bhakti, right? Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam, right? He worships me, ananya bhav, without any other motivation. Sadhureva saha, he is a sadhu. Mantavya, this is my opinion. Samyak vyavasito hisa, because he is perfectly situated in Krishna consciousness, right? Although he might have done sinful activities in the past, but past is past. But now, if he has resolved to give up all sinful activities and take up Krishna consciousness seriously, then he is freed from all sinful reactions and he is to be considered to be a sadhu. Sadhureva saha mantavya. It is Krishna's opinion. Krishna considers such person as a sadhu. What to speak of all of us? Right? We also should consider such people to be sadhu. Of course, we should not apply this to ourselves. Means what? I will do whatever I like. I will do all sinful activities. And I'll regularly chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. One may say like that. That is aparad. Right? Because one is doing sinful activities on the name, on the strength of the holy name. So that is an offense. So one should not use holy name in our service, but one should serve the holy name. And how to serve the holy name? By chanting the Hare Krishna without offenses. So that's how one should serve. So one should not expect holy name to serve us. One should not demand service from the holy name. So that should be kept in mind. So we should not apply this shloka to ourselves, but we should apply this to others. If others make some mistake, but they are fixed up in bhakti, then one should consider them as sadhu. So Prabhupada mentions here in this purport, the only purpose of life is to be fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and his form, pastimes, activities, and qualities. If one is able to think of Krishna in this way 24 hours a day, he is already liberated. Swarupena Vyavasthiti. Means thinking of Krishna 24 hours is a sign of liberated devotee. Generally, our meditation is interrupted. There are more interruptions than meditation. So, just like when you are going on a road, village road, a lot of speed breakers will be there. You go a little fast, then again you have to slow down. Then you go again fast, you have to slow down. So, similarly, our mind also, when we think of Krishna, we think of Krishna for a moment, but next moment some other thought of Maya comes, isn't it? So we are hardly in Krishna's thoughts. We are mostly thinking about material things. Mhm. So, and our samadhis, our thoughts are interrupted by many distractions. So that's why we should try to develop the strength of meditation, right? Dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Dharana means to meditate on the holy name for 12 seconds. Dhyana means to meditate on the holy name for 12 into 12, 144 seconds, almost 2.5 minutes. And samadhi means 12 into 12 into 12 seconds. It's almost 24 minutes. If somebody is able to focus one's mind on one particular activity for a long time, then that's called samadhi. So, but right now our samadhi is interrupted. So later on, we should try to cultivate uninterrupted nirvikalpa samadhi. So whereas materialists are absorbed in material thoughts and activities, devotees on the contrary are always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna and Krishna's activities. So now Janmashtami is coming. So it's a wonderful opportunity to engage our thoughts in Krishna, Krishna's activities. Like we have to celebrate festivals, the Abhishek, we have to do prasadam cooking, prasadam distribution, fundraising for Krishna, and also we should introduce more people to Krishna consciousness and expand our preaching. So that's what is Janmashtami. If our thoughts are absorbed in all these activities of Krishna consciousness, then we will be Krishna conscious, and at the time of death, we go back to God. So this Janmashtami is a very wonderful opportunity to fix one's mind on Krishna. So that's why we should regularly try to read Krishna book or hear Krishna pastimes in this particular week. Therefore, they are already on the platform of liberation. One has to think of Krishna with full absorption at the time of death. Right? Full absorption, Prabhupada is telling. Not just that you are alive at the time of death and you hear Krishna's name. That's good, but if you are fully absorbed in Krishna's name at the time of death, that is most Wonderful, most auspicious. Then he will certainly return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Like Ramila chanted the name of Narayana at the time that he got a second chance. Then he became very serious and went to Haridwar and then continued his bhakti, chanted the holy names, went back to Godhead. So Ante Narayana Smritihi. So at the time of death, one should be able to think of Krishna in full absorption. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalegalam. Right? Tam tam evaiti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhagata. Whatever bhava, whatever absorption we have at the time of death will decide our next world. If we are absorbed in Krishna at the time of death, then next life we'll go to Krishna Loka. If you're absorbed in any other thoughts at the time that, then the future is dangerous. One may be born in any family, one may lose the chance of human birth, and one may glide down to the lower species or lower planets. So basically, in today's verse, Narada Muni is telling that one should practice Bhakti Yoga. And in Bhakti Yoga, one should fix one's mind on Krishna's lotus feet thoroughly, without any distraction. Then by this, one gets purified, and then one goes back home, back to God. Idam hi Yogeshwara Yoga Naipunam Hiranyagarbho Bhagavan Jagadayat. Lord Brahma gave this process of bhakti in the beginning of creation. Yadantakale tvai nirgune manod bhaktya dadit. It's Antakale, at the time of death, unto you, who is nirguna, beyond the modes of mortal nature. So unto such Supreme Lord, one should fix one's mind. Then he'll be able to become free from all sinful reactions and then go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So this is what we discussed today, basically fixing the mind on Krishna. So I'll pause here because I have to leave at 8 o'clock. We have another appointment. If somebody has any quick comment or question or something, if devotees would like to share, can share.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhu, you were telling about Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. You were telling about the time, like
yeah,
to
given by
12.
Patanjali.
Patanjali. Can you just repeat that, Prabhu?
Yeah, Dharana is 12 seconds.
Okay.
And Dhyana is 12 into 12.
Okay.
12 into 12. How much?
144.
144 seconds. Samadhi is 12 into 12 seconds. That's Samadhi. Almost 24 minutes, you can say. So it's very long time.
Yes.
So, because in 1 second also mind goes so many places. In one mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, mind may go so many thoughts and come back. So even one mantra hearing also is very challenging for the conditioned mind. But by practice, one should become more and more focused. 12 seconds means at least some 3 to 4 mantras. Okay, without any other distraction, without any other thought. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. So without any other thought. While chanting this mantra right now, I was thinking that all of you should hear. So another thought came. But, and I was also thinking that I should hear. So many other thoughts come even while chanting the mantra. But if one is able to absorb in the mantra itself without any other thoughts, with loving feelings. So that's called dharana, then dhyana, then samadhi. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Suvarnagaura Prabhu. I know that you have to leave at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for your association. We will end today's session with Vaishnava Pranam. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवत की जय। जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की वैष्णव जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, devotees. End the session today, and we will meet again tomorrow morning, same time.